New Zealand against Canada here at the HSBC Sevens World Series Round 7 for the 2015 series in Japan. New Zealand haven't been beaten by Canada to date in the history of the event, but there are problems in the New Zealand camp with injury. Number 9, Sherwin Stowers, has a broken finger, and number 3, Sam Dixon, has a problem with his neck. It's not quite so serious, but it'll keep him out of today's action. So New Zealand will play this match with a squad of 10. We have to presume that the Canadians have a full squad of 12, although they had to make some late changes and injuries to get to this tournament. Now, this is a very interesting matchup. There is a slight change there. The New Zealand captain has shaved off the big beard. He came to breakfast this morning, the beard was there, and it's gone, which is one of the little signals that DJ Forbes, the New Zealand captain, used to signal. He wouldn't shave until the day of the final, because that was his signal that he was moving up a notch to play with more intensity, and but maybe like a swimmer shaving down before a final. Even Sherwin Stowers has gone out onto the field for the New Zealand team. He's all stripped and got his boots on, so he does have a broken finger. I wonder if that means that he's intending to play. I'm Keith Quinn. With me is Scott Hastings. This should be a good one. The referee is Luke Pearce of England. So Fiji and South Africa are through. England are through. Okay. Now, if New Zealand wins, that'll be the top 4 teams through to the semi-finals. Kieran Hearn of Canada kicks off. He's very good at that expert art. You see, it's just gone to the 10-metre mark, but picked up on the half volley by Joe Webber. Watch the clock if he gets there. This could be the fastest of all time. He stopped the clock at 18 seconds since the kickoff, and you go into an early lead. That is amazing. The kick was right on the button. So was the bounce for Webber.
Keith, watch this pickup by Joe Webber off his bootlaces, steps on the outside, and then backs himself. And as a player, it gives you so much confidence. The wry grin there as Webber goes over the line. Smashing try there from New Zealand.
Bodine Waka for New Zealand. He's got that unique fold down of the socks. Doesn't have them pulled up high by his knees. He folds them down in maybe trying to set a new trend. Not quite like JPR Williams used to do in the old days. We used to have them rolled right down. But the early try has gone to New Zealand after 18 seconds of play. Yes, some of the traditionalists around the tour, they like the players to play with their socks up. We even had a player playing from PNG a week ago without any socks. I think it was from PNG, or was it Belgium? Turned up without any socks at all, and was smartly told to put them on for the next appearance. Okay, Canada will have to settle down after that. We know the Canadians are a pretty good outfit. Last year they had their best ever season on the tour, and they've got big guys like John Moonlight, number 4, who are big into this game, and they've got Sean White, number 1, who I've always enjoyed watching play. There he is. He's a feisty little scrum half out of the 15s game. He's played in both the Canadian teams at the 7s version and the 15s version. So is this guy here. So they'll be just rocked back a little bit by that early score by New Zealand, but not too much.
Yeah, I was speaking with Liam Middleton, the Canadian coach, at breakfast this morning, and he said it just feels as though this Canadian team may have just turned a little corner in that win against Kenya by 26 points to 10, and you know, they'll play with a lot of confidence today.
Adam Zaruba is number 12, and here's nice work by Fulafau. New Zealand's defence not at home, and Mike Fulafau puts Canada on the board.
Well, what about that for a try? We talked about confidence, Keith. Well, what confidence Canada will deliver from that. And Sean White, what a beautiful little flip pass out the tackle. Look at this, wearing that number 1 jersey, the reverse little flick. Absolutely superb. Mickelson tried to track down the Canadian. Well, I hope you're enjoying this across, well, Vancouver time. It's 8:30 p.m. in the evening. New Zealand, 3:30 in the afternoon. Hope you're enjoying your Easter Sunday.
It's a live streaming in Canada, coverage of this event. And we know our colleague Gareth Rees will be enjoying this hugely, especially that moment there, which has leveled the scores up at 5-all. So there is the New Zealand captain. He's been rocked back by that score by Canada, but only momentarily. Look at Hearn. He's a very good man at the kick-off, and this time it's gone to Waka. Just not quite sure where Waka was in that previous play. And there's Rico Ioane. Penalty for Canada. Slow release.
Yeah, it was. I just wonder if Canada might have a little pop here. With these slippy, tricky conditions. What I mean by that is a drop goal, but no. It's Sean White who will attack through ball in hand.
Yeah, it's a thought, to try for the points, however they come. Point production. You've got to be, it's knockout, so you've got to be proactive. There's Hearn. Oh, he gets a nice pass away, full of foul. There's only 5 metres out. They tumbled over the top. Bodine Waka to Tim Mickelson, his first touch. Yes. Sideline.
You don't often see New Zealand get forced out on the wide outside channels and out of play, but Tim Mickelson caught there.
Yeah, of course. Just keep your spaces right.
In the all-time scoring charts there, such a great stalwart of this team.
Our colleague Carl Tanana still on that top 5 list for New Zealand. That one was lost forward by DJ Forbes. There is a high level of intensity from both teams here.
Yeah, it's a
couple of smashing passes though for Canada. Literally hitting the contact, getting the offload going.
7th all-time try scorer, Tim Mickelson. He's in this game. Tamasi Thama, also from New Zealand, is 2 below him. So great old names there who have been and gone on the tour, and we remember them very fondly indeed as we watch the latest set from Canada. What a tackle by 10 on 10 there. Weber on Hearn. Number 5 for New Zealand is Dylan Collier.
Well, we often talk, Keith, about the line speed of the press defence of New Zealand, and here, look at this, flying up, super tackle, absolutely nailed by Joe Weber, who's, well, we talked about him yesterday, Keith, in the half-time huddle. It tends to be one of the new guys around. He's very quiet, but he was quite outspoken, contributing to this team performance, and, well, he came out the blocks with that opening try, and he came out the blocks there to rattle the Canadians.
Here's Mickelson! The very high standards he sets for himself.
Well, Tim Mickelson, he was on the snakes and ladders board here, wasn't he? Look at this. There he goes, follows the board, cuts this way, and then goes outside. Once you stretch a defence, you can stretch it further by going to the wide outside channels. He teased the Canadian defence, and Harry Jones couldn't get near the big striding New Zealander, Tim Mickelson.
Wow, it was too. And well, he's had some ups and downs in form. He missed it at tournament because of injury. Waka's kick is on its way. It's crossed the front again. And they go to the half-time break at 10-5. Ups and downs for Mickelson, but he's come right in this tournament here. Never better shown than in that try.
The half-time score is New Zealand 10 and Canada 5. ニュージーランド代表対カナダ代表は前半を終了して1対5で交渉に入ります。
Great try to start off with. Our key ball is excellent.
to stop them, eh? Straight away. Any loose balls down on it, even make the ball hard for them to set play time. Right outside. Let's get into it. Out the kick off to us, get on them faster. We're too slow at the moment. When Rick's even got it here, you've got to stop and bring it back. Get on them really quickly and place it. Set it. We put a big short time up and did there. Taking the numbers, just read the numbers and do it.
Get up, get live. If you can use the whip, let's do that. If not, we're going to try and it's just going to be simple things, right? The key thing is, if they do by any chance make a break, they have to score corners. This game's going to be 1 or 2 points. Agreed? Let's get the next score. Let's get the next score and let's beat these guys. Go, boys. Let's go. It's ours here.
Next 2 minutes, boys. We win it, we're going to win the game. 1, 2, 3, Canada!
There goes Liam Middleton, the Canadian coach, back to the sideline, formerly coach of Zimbabwe. He's only 37 years of age, so he's young in this coaching world. And Canada have a royal chance here of going through to the semi-finals. That wouldn't be the first time for them. They did the same in Wellington this season, but my word, they're in with a chance here, especially on the back of the very good try by Fulafau. Second half begins. New Zealand in the black, Canada in the red. And there it is, the man who scored the try for Canada gives it to Harry Jones, number 11, who hasn't featured so far in this game. My word, there have been some fast tries. And we saw the one here today by Weber for New Zealand that stopped the clocks at about 18 seconds. But Leo Lolo scored a try for Samoa in Las Vegas a couple of years back, which only took 9 seconds. So the record keepers here even have a list of the top 10 fastest tries from the kickoff in the match. Here is DJ Forbes from New Zealand.
Go! Offside left.
Now, New Zealand, they won a game the other day against Samoa in Hong Kong by a penalty goal. And your point is a good one, Scott, that at 10-5, they could extend to 13. They're going for the tap and play.
It's just an option, Keith, that teams may consider due to the slippy conditions.
And it is slippery, or as the great Scottish commentator Bill McLaren used to say, slippy. And there is Reko Ioane taken down by Adam Zaruba, who's a very big man. He's a huge guy, 6'8", that's 2'04". That's him, number 12. And now it's with the hard-working Connor trainer, very consistent player trainer. And Moonlight, middle of the field. Hearn, good play by Canada, good interplay. There's Zaruba goes down. New Zealand's got to roll away. Canada, they're a long way out, but they have possession.
And building phases of possession, Keith. And under the conditions, as we mentioned earlier on, Canada have strung together 23 passes to that of New Zealand's 6. Now, sometimes that's an indication that when teams are commanding the possession, they're maybe not finishing off that possession by scoring tries. And obviously with New Zealand's Tim Mickelson scoring that one right on halfway, he took that run from the 22-metre line.
Well, how about this? Sherwin Stowers, who has a hand problem, a finger injury, is into the game. And there it is. You can see it's well taped up, well looked after. So brave play. Sherwin Stowers staying in the game. New Zealand has Sam Dixon out. Here is Jones. Now Hearn. A switch of direction midfield. They are playing with great confidence, the Canadian team. This is a side that looks well coached. And they swing it now. It's time to the left. These passes that hit the floor, they're awkward because of the slipperiness. But here's Trainer to Hearn. Here's Canada going well. They move it one more time to Moonlight. Moonlight will put Canada into the lead because the kick is so close to the post.
Well, Keith, isn't it interesting that we sometimes talk about the quality of the passing, but marvellous switch play here. Connor Traynor came back on the angle, popped the ball over the top here from DJ Forbes. But at this point here, the pass wasn't quite delivered, but a slip up in the New Zealand defence allows Moonlight all the daylight to go in under the posts.
I think it was Stowers new on the field, perhaps not. There's the kick over. The lead has gone for Canada. Stowers not attuned perhaps to running on the, well, I've been called a glassy, icy surface. It's not that cold, of course, but he slipped on his backside. Sat him on his passport, and might be passport home if they lose here for New Zealand. Here is Waka, floats it wide to big Collier, Dylan Collier. Now, under normal circumstances, he's got a very good sidestep, but it's a little treacherous to try the big ones. Here's the courage of Stowers now. Canada in the lead by 12 to 10. Moonlight, the leader from the front, played on by Jones to Traynor. This one really hurts New Zealand and puts Canada further into the lead.
Whoa, a mistake by New Zealand. Stowers slipped the egg between his legs. It was Canada who picked up that loose ball. There it goes there. And Moonlight, well, he's having an absolute cracker of a tie. Didn't quite deliver the pass, but Traynor picks this up and goes for the corner. DJ Forbes tries to get across. Well, what an important conversion we have now. And look at the delight on the Canadian bench.
Very good indeed. They're enjoying this. 17 to 10, the kick to come from Harry Jones. And right down the pipe.
Well, talk about important kicks, but Harry Jones has absolutely nailed that one. 1 minute and 33 seconds on the clock. It's New Zealand who are going to have to go out and score twice.
Well, remember the stat we showed you at the start of the game and what we call the head-to-head as Ambrose Curtis is on for New Zealand. It shows that Canada have never beaten New Zealand in the sevens game. Weber is trying to get through. He gives it to Mickelson. Those two scored New Zealand's tries in the first half. Nothing for New Zealand in the second half. Bodine Waka. It's desperate for New Zealand now. But look at the Canadians hanging on by the coattails. Anything. Well, it's what they call in rock and roll circles tenacious D.
Well, one thing that you can be guaranteed is New Zealand will go to the final second.
Stowers. He's got Collier with him, but it's wide out. Now, they might not take a conversion attempt here. They might say, let's go straight to back to halfway to get the kick-off and have more time to try to get the points. He is going for the kick. Stowers coming off the bench to score it. Oh, there's bad luck for New Zealand, because while we're watching the replay here, the conversion attempt taken so hurriedly has hit the post and deflected away.
Stowers, you know, he's such a brave guy, isn't he? He always does something now so important. Bodine Waka, he has to get plenty of height on this, and New Zealand have to get possession.
Curry has got it, but it's deflected down by Little White, and Kieran Hearn makes it a famous victory for Team Canada. You think sevens rugby is on the upswing in Canada? They've got the women's tournament coming up. Big strides, a new coach. Big strides in the men's tournament as well. Hugs and kisses from from their staff. There's the former New Zealand World Cup winner, Kieran Crowley there. And my word, this is a happy day for Canada. A great victory for them over New Zealand by 19-15. Canada are into the semi-finals where they will play England.